Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, not much going on, so I wanted to take the opportunity to take a look at some of the indicators in today's video. I wanted to start on the weekly chart and then take a look at some of these like the RSI and the MACD. They are typically the ones that we use, but we want to start by having a look at the bigger picture VRVP volume profile. And that shows you why it is so difficult for price to break through the current range. This is where all the historical volume is sitting here. I mean, there is even more down there. That's around 16.8K, right? But you've got a lot of that stuff up here, a lot of historical trading volume. And it is typically the area where you expect price action to be choppy. So this obviously has been with us, this situation, since March or so. Basically, from the moment on when we started to consolidate here in March, and you can see this is where the biggest spike of volume was on the weekly chart. So this is the choppy price action. Now you can see as well if price can break above the current range. Yeah, we talk about a sustained break above 31.8K. All of this drops off. There isn't much. So it could really send us higher quite quickly. And that would be in line with the projection of a third wave rally that can take us pretty quickly to 39 to 40K, which is when the next volume spikes are starting. Yeah, if I zoom in, you can zoom out, you can see that. So there isn't much on the journey between 30 to 40K, but it starts again at 40K. So this is where it's going to start to get choppy again with all these waves 3, 4, 5, and so on. But yeah, this is just something higher level that we need to understand structurally about this chart. Looking about, so there you go. Looking at the RSI on the weekly chart, we can see that we have a bearish crossover. So weekly RSI that has a bearish crossover is certainly not immediately bullish, but be aware that we are heading into September, okay, which is generally a more or less bearish month. And also take a look at what happened before. We also had a bearish crossover here around the 5th and the 10th of June. Everybody got bearish. That was around the time when I think the SEC sued Coinbase. And what happened? It turned around, okay? So the RSI itself doesn't give you anything. It doesn't give you anything, really. I only use the RSI together with price structure. You can't use the RSI and take a look at a bearish crossover and say this chart is bearish when the price structure, which is always leading, price is always king, is bullish. That's why I completely disregarded at the time the weekly crossover bearish on the RSI, because it's not meaningful when we're holding above support and when we are in a bullish structure with impulses to the upside and corrective movements to the downside. Yeah, if you watch any video from back then, I did not talk about that bearish crossover on the weekly RSI. I do always, even though I don't show them always in the videos, I always consider the indicators, the RSI, the MACD and volume profiles mainly. We talked about them in member live streams, how indicators can be used specifically with Elliott Wave to confirm wave counts, but they never determine them. So I would never let any indicator determine my wave count because the price structure is always king. So I can let it confirm it to get more confidence. Yeah, but the price structure is king. And as long as we're holding above bullish support, I disregard it because it didn't work here either. So it's not a signal I use primarily, the weekly RSI. Yeah, at least not when the price structure is bullish. Okay, so that's very important. By the way, I'm talking about RSI. Oh dear, it's been a long day. No, that's the MACD. If anybody's already written a comment. No, that was the MACD, of course, but it's the same thing. Bearish crossover, doesn't matter. Okay, the RSI, but it's the same thing for the RSI, because here we had apparently a bearish crossover as well and a bearish divergence, but it's the same thing. Yeah, it is only used for confirming wave counts, not determining them. And importantly, we are still in the bullish range. We are still above 50. Yeah, very, very important. So we are holding above that 50 level, and we have been holding above that 50 level in, you could say, the bullish range since January. And that has been quite a bullish price action movement, right? Also, again, same thing. We had bearish crossovers here in May into June, and then we rallied again. Okay, just highlighting that. Now, of course, it doesn't mean the price has to hold above support. I mean, we're getting squeezed between support and resistance currently on the Bitcoin chart. I showed you that volume profile, that resistance in the beginning. Of course, Bitcoin is at a key breakout point, and if it fails, it's going to fail here. But nevertheless, you know, I always prefer to stay in the present when analyzing or making financial decisions. So looking at the daily chart, this doesn't look too bad actually. The daily has on the MACD bullish crossover, yeah. Still fairly neutral though, I would say. But yeah, it's sort of short-term bullish. Daily chart, no problem. The RSI hasn't really come down low enough for me. I would like to see the RSI normally closer to 30 or at least below 40 as it was already in June when we had that dip. This was really good. Yeah, you will remember that signal back then on the 10th of March it was, where I highlighted we had so many bearish news. It was all about the banks. And I highlighted to you, look, this is typically indicative for a low in place. And yeah, but since then, yeah, that was quite a rapid sell-off. Since then, the sell-offs have been weaker and the sell-offs have been weaker. So more corrective and really boring as well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, looking at the indicators, they just confirm price action. They don't even determine it. So also interestingly now on the 4 hour. So basically on the daily, I would like it to go a little lower. That would actually be in line with what we say on the chart, that we'd like to get a lower C wave in this wave too, until price can prove to us that the bottom is already in. I don't believe it at this stage. Now short term, a higher B wave is possible. Just want to show you before I close the MACD here, that on the 4 hour chart, this is turning to the upside. So yeah, there is definitely a chance that we get that higher B wave that I would like to see. I explained that in the previous video. So the yellow count is, of course, it needs to prove itself. That's the bullish count. That first of all, I won't believe that until I have 5 waves up and 3 waves down. It's not that it's unlikely, it just hasn't proven itself yet. Until then, I assume we could get a higher B wave as long as 29K is holding, getting a B wave, and then come down in wave C to finish off this overall correction. So the 4 hour RSI is already, and MACD, they're already turning to the upside here. And as long as 29K is holding, I assume we can get a higher B wave. And unless we get 5 waves up, I assume we are still in the white wave count, which should give us another low. That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.